Okay, Dune, uh, Part 1. I just saw it just now, right? Just got out. First thoughts about it. Well, I liked it. It was, it's a good movie for me. It's a good movie. Kept me entertained. Um, what else? Uh, I didn't feel the runtime, I guess. It's a long movie. It's like 2 hours or like almost three, right? I want to say it's about two. Like it's pretty up there, and it's like 168 minutes. So I think yeah, like about 2 hours or a little over 2 hours actually. Um, I don't think I felt the runtime because like towards the scene where the fodder they're at the what is that planet called? Daraki. Oh, it's not Daraki. Whatever the planet's called, the desert planet that's like Tatooine, but it's not Tatooine. They how do you call oh my god, what was it? Assassination, right? The doctor turns on them, Dr. Uwe or whatever his name was. He had a wife that was a slave. She's captive, so that's why she turns on them, or that's why he turns on them. Makes alliance with this guy that's kind of creepy looking, and he can levitate for some reason. And he's like morbidly obese too. It's that's another thing I like about this movie. It's like there's like disturbing imagery, I guess you can say, like scenes that I think will be that's like a horror element, and I like that they have a horror like element in the film. And some of the characters they look kind of weird, which I guess matches with the sci-fi theme of the film. Oh my god, I keep doing too. Uh, what else? The score, the soundtrack it's interesting. The soundtrack for the film, it's got like this wood, like this kind of wood clanking on wood or hitting like soft bamboo type theme with some of the main score, I guess. It plays during the end credits, so I'm gonna guess that's the main score of the film. And it makes a reappearance right throughout the movie when and it's like very loud, right? I did see this one. I think it's PHF is the type of showing for it, and it's very loud, right? And like foreboding and like punches. It really punches. And yeah, so that was cool. The score is nice on it. I think it's unique. It's distinctive. I don't remember any song in particular being. My brake is going off there. I don't remember any song in particular, like any score, like it doesn't like not distinctive on its own, right? Any particular track, but I would say overall overarching together because of that wood bamboo thing that they put in there. It sounds clunky and kind of weird, but it works with the film because how the sci-fi nature of it, the odd, the world building of it, right? It's nice. This showing that I saw, they're bringing it back because the second part is coming out like March. Well, it says March 11 on posters, but then on the screen it said March 1st, I think. So I don't know. In March, which is coming up soon enough, right? Sooner or later, like 3 weeks from now. It's gonna come out, and so this is like a recap for it. Need to kind of gather my thoughts here. Anything I didn't like about it? The dialogue, I guess is standard. It's like typical for movies like of this sort, where they kind of talk, and I don't even know how to describe that way of speaking. It's just sort of like to the point, and or like they'll never like we can't give up all the information at once, which I guess like makes sense, right? So we have to kind of sprinkle it little bits here and there. One thing that I didn't get in this film that I'm gonna have to watch an analysis or review, kind of someone explained it to me, was like Paul, right? So Timothée Chalamet's character, he has like vision. He's having dreams. I think he's been having these dreams too, of like I guess he's from the planet. He's from the desert world, or like he's been there before, like on past life or something. Because he has dreams, and then when he's there, like he ties the suit onto his body, and the girl, she's checking like everyone's suits, and she checks his suit, and she's like, oh, you must have tied this before, you must have worn this before. And they say no, it's the first time. And And I like the scene where they are in that tent thing after that plane crashed. Oh, and the plane's kind of cool too. It's like a dragonfly, or like it flies like an insect. The propellers on the plane, so that's a cool concept. I think we have drones like that in our world, so it'd be cool to see like a plane. And they're probably maybe engineers that are thinking about this, like how to make a full scale replica version of like a dragonfly in an airplane mode, right? But anyway, what was like Paul, the plane, yeah, that chick, you're right. There's like the people, they whisper in their language. Oh, I've seen you before, I recognize you. Oh, you must have, you were here when you were little. Like they have like they say little things under their breath in front of Paul, in front of everybody actually. But then in the tent scene, Paul finally gets it, because I guess, well, that Dr. you guy, whatever his name was, the doctor, he leaves like this package or something for them, and he puts like his ring in there. Like he portrayed them, but in the same vein, he also had some loyalty. It seemed like he didn't portray them all the way, only halfway. Because he gives a dad like a tube, and he says, he break this tube, you can kill people with it, like I'll kill you but also kill everyone else. And he does that when he's like whispering, and this which I guess, I don't know if he's the emperor, and that's in there. Did they say the emperor throughout the film? Which well, he's a duke. I think he's dad to duke, so the son's like a duke or something too, my lord. And I guess, but I get the other guy, I don't think he's an emperor, I think he's also like a duke type person. And they have houses, right? So it's like Game of Thrones. They have a house, and the house is like it's like they're all like subservient to like some higher person above them, right? I guess they all have their own planets too, or something. It has to be something like that. Yeah, because even the tall weird guy that he levitates, and it's like his music on his planet, it's like oh, I guess it's like what do you call it, vibrating like hums or something. Even like his, like we get the title cards on the screen, right, of like people's planets and stuff, and so that's a feature of it, right? What was I thinking of? Canada. Well, it's like, it sounds like Canada, but it's not Canada. It's like Canada or something. And in the credits they mentioned Norway, so I guess it's filmed in Norway. Like the scenes that we see of their planet. What was I thinking of? I was thinking of something in my head. It really escapes me. I mean, overall I liked the film. It kept me entertained. I kind of wanted more of it to happen. When number 2 came up and then it was over, it's like, oh, I kind of forgot that was that we had kind of been at the theater for too long, right? We've been at the theater for a while. I guess for some people it maybe be sort of the resolution maybe feel like it's a cliffhanger. You feel the cliffhanger. Like I feel like, yeah, we need a part 2. This can't be a standalone film. Like it was definitely not made to be a standalone film, right? It was definitely it's a clip. I'm guessing maybe number 2 is gonna be a cliffhanger as well. Gonna be a 3-part film series, and wrap it at that. That's it. Because it's based on a novel, which I guess it follows loosely maybe the novel, and that's what I'm curious too. I'll have to do an analysis of somebody that's already read it or they know about, so they, when they see this movie, they can see like the parallels that are similar and the parallels that aren't. What was taken with liberty and what was done, like how it is in the whatever, right? This movie, I like when Zendaya comes in, because he always sees, like, he sees her in particular on the mine, and when we see Zendaya, how do you call? It's like, I guess it feels uneventful. It feels uneventful, at least to me it did. When she comes into the scene, when she comes into the picture, and we see her, and they have the Yemen, that's what they're called. The people are called the Yemen, or the Fremen. The Fremen, that's what they're called. It sounds like Yemen, right? I guess the landscape even kind of looks like Yemen too, because it's like desert, but then it's mountainous as well, just like Yemen, right? And it's like mired in conflict. Well, this is mired in conflict because and this is something they established in the early film. There was like some like colonial overlords that were on their planet, and these overlords, they were mining like the spice, that's what it's called, and they need the spice to do intergalactic travel. It's what's very important, right? Without they can't do this feature, they can't perform this feat of traveling really far. So it's an important resource, and they're there and they're mining it, and I guess they're impressing them while they're mining it and stuff. But then, and maybe they mentioned the film, I don't remember. I think it's told by the Fremen perspective in the beginning, where it just mentions like, oh, they're like their emperor called, and like they had to leave, so then everybody like kind of left, or like the main forces left. I'm going to have some people left, but there's a city that's there on the ground, and it would have been cool to like maybe explore more of the city. But we're seeing the eyes through the royal family, so I guess it makes sense when we get to the planet, we fly to the palace, that we're just in the palace, and so we don't see like anything else outside of the palace. We don't see the whole how the city looks, besides the scenes where, and I guess it gives you kind of some, because like it's like covered, right? Everything's like under a shield protection, so the surface of the city is quite bleak and boring, right? Just a bunch of you can just see the outlines of buildings and such, but like we're told like underneath, because the sun is harsh here, right? This planet, it can kill you, so underneath it's I guess that's where the life and stuff is happening. And we know that there's Fremen on the surface, right? When they come to land on the planet, there's Fremen that are there greeting, I guess they're sort of greeting the new overlords, because like the older ones, they left, so now they got new ones coming through, and their spice production's like low, so they had to boost their spice production. What was I thinking of in my head? The Fremen spice. I like the pilgrimage. I like so Timothée Chalamet's character, when he gets to the house, whatever, he's like wandering around the grounds, and he sees these palm trees, and he sees this guy, and he's watering the palm trees, and he's watering them like close to the base, and the guy mentions that the palm trees, they how do you call, they account for like 5 men drinking water, like a daily water intake of 5 men. These trees, they drink a lot of water. They really suck a lot. And he explains that they're not native to this planet. They're something that was brought in, the palm trees. Kind of like, I guess, like LA with palm trees, right? They were brought into the area. So they're not native to the area. So they don't, they're invasive, right? And Chalamet says, oh, why don't we get rid of them then? And the guy's like, oh no, and they're like, he backtracks on it, right, with him, and he mentions that they're pretty cool. Like, I guess he appreciates them. He touches the tree. It's kind of cute when he touches the tree. Like, it's a beautiful plant, and like, yeah, it's not native, but it's still beautiful. Like, we have them here, and they're, they don't need to go. They can stay. And he mentions the people. He said, what about those people? And it's kind of cute. These people see the prince, right? The Duke, whatever, they see him walking, and they're waving to him. Some people are waving to him, and we get this montage of people praying and stuff. And we also see like the planet. It's got like the mark of like 3. It looks like a hand, actually. It's like 4 marks or 5, and it's going like someone scraped the planet, and off in the distance, what I guess is one of their moons or suns or whatever. And one of the army guys tells like his dad. He says, oh, that's the mark of God. That's what the Fremen call it. They call it the mark of God. That planet over there, and we see the planet over in the distance, and so that's a cool little scene. And but yeah, Timothy asked the gentleman about the how do you call? Oh my God, what was I thinking of in my head? Thinking of something. Oh yeah, he asked him about the people over there, and he says they're pilgrims, right? They're pilgrims to, I guess, the city. That, and I guess maybe they come like for like the religion, like, cause they show the scene of religious worship, like kind of similar to Muslims, right? They even dress like Muslims. You can see the parallels of our world and then in this world, right? Which makes me think that maybe this novel is French, and so, the Fremen are based on like Algerians or Tunisians, right? It's based on when France had the possession over in North Africa, right? That's what I'm thinking with this film. That's like the connections there, the parallels. What was I thinking of? yeah, he asked him about the pilgrims, and he mentions that, oh, that's what those people are. Those people that the pilgrims don't care about heat stroke. They don't care about dying of heat. They just want to come here and I'm not sure for what. I'm not even sure they even explained like for what. What another thing was when the mom, she has housekeepers, like people come in to like be a housekeeper for the castle, which I guess makes sense. They didn't have somebody there before because how do you call what do you call oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought here. It's hard to focus. Just keeps slipping from me. Housekeeper, yeah, for the house, right, to take care of the family and shit, and they're I guess they're Fremen women, or maybe not all of them, right? Because she looks at them, and then she looks at the one lady, and she's like, oh, everybody else can leave. She just picks this one for like a kind of out of random, and I think she tells her like, are you Fremen? And she's like, yeah, I'm Fremen. Like, I mean, I have kind of have to be, right? I live on the planet, and when she confirms that she's Fremen, she had like the knife right in the hand, and this is the thing with the Fremen. They have like two daggers, right? They have like a main dagger, which 'cause it's not quite long enough to be a sword, right? And I guess it's shorter. It's like not long enough to be a sword, but it's shorter, but it's longer than a knife, right, or a blade. So I guess a dagger would be more, or maybe it would just be a blade. I don't know. It's like you can hold it in one hand, right? You can wield it one hand comfortably, right? This weapon, and how do you call it? And they're like have this tradition when they're made of like the sandworm's teeth, and that's another cool thing in the film. The sandworms, the animals. I think we only get 2 like excerpts of animals in the film. Well, besides the beetle, there's this scene where Jason Momoa holds a beetle in his hand. So, like, okay, they have beetles. That's kind of cool. And they have, like, this little mouse shrew thing. And we even get a scene where, like, the ears are big the way they are. So they collect water, and the water can trickle down. And they can collect it and bring it to its mouth to drink. But then we have the sandworm. They remind me of Tatooine as well. Because in Tatooine, I don't remember we have sandworms in Tatooine. But we have... they have like it's not an antlion, I want to say is called. I have to look it up again, but there's something that lives in the ground, right, that eats and it eats like ants, right, or insects that walk by, and it falls into its mouth basically. And what was I thinking of? In Star Wars, it's kind of just like it, I think, right, because it's stationary, it doesn't move. But in what do you call that thing? In this movie, the sandworms, they do move, and they're moving towards you. I think in Star Wars they do. I don't say in The Mandalorian, because he goes to Tatooine in that show, that there's a scene where he's there and he can see like how do you call he sees one of these things, it like shoots acid or whatever. So yeah, I think they have this shit in Star Wars, or something similar like that they have in Dune, where it moves underground. And it's moving towards you because how do you call if you're taking a shot, every time I say good luck, right? If it's moving towards you, the sand's like gets disturbed, right, or something, and it rises up. And that's what we see in this film, that even in the bonus scene, the little because this special is like a special showing of Dune that I saw, and then the special showing, it's got like a sneak peek of the second one that's coming up like in 3 weeks or ish from now. And this special showing is what was I thinking of? It shows a sandworm, because the director even says before it comes on that the kind of important moment in the novel is when Paul's character rides a sandworm. And we see it like at the end of number 1 that Paul has a sandworm. He sees a guy riding a sandworm, which is the first time we get a glimpse like, oh, that's that's a thing that these Fremen people do. They ride sandworms. And so we see we see a guy doing that, and he's like, desert power, because his dad says this early in the film. He says the word desert power, and they said that's what we got to get for ourselves. We got to get desert power, which is cool. Like, they mention like the kind of the political, like, it's not just economic status that you're after, you're also after the political status, right? Political power. and that manifests, I guess, in desert power or whatever that's kind of supposed to mean. So that's a cool thing with the film. Anything else to take away? Not at the moment. I think I talked about everything that I liked. What I didn't like about the film? Nothing in particular, not that I can think of, which I think is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to see the number 2. I'm glad I saw the number 1 because I wanted to, because I'm going to see 2 regardless. But seeing 1, now I have the context of what's happening. For number 2 is when I see number 2, then it's good, right? A home run in the park. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on Dune Part 1 from 2023, I think. It's for me, good movie. I liked it. Thank you for listening if you did.